Guided exercise number 2 says evaluate the definite integral from 1 to 4 of e to the root x power over root x dx using substitution with definite integrals. So this is the new one again. So I'm going to go ahead and rearrange things slightly to make it easier to figure out what's going on. So this is a definite integral from 1 to 4 of e to the root x times 1 over root x dx. It's often helpful to break up those fractional looking integrands just so that you can more clearly see the structure of your integrand. So this is the definite integral from 1 to 4 of e to the root x times x to the negative 1/2 power dx. And when I write it this way, I can see that my u probably should be root x. And then my du is going to be 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 dx. And we don't quite have what we need yet within the integrand because we need that 1/2. So let's go ahead and incorporate that before we do the substitution. So definite integral from 1 to 4, throw in a 2, e to the root x, 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 dx. And now we have the u, which is the root x, and we have the du, which is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 dx. What we haven't figured out yet is the limits of integration. What happens to those? So our old limits of integration were 1 and 4. So to get our new limits of integration, we need to take the 1 and the 4 and plug them into our inside function. So g of a is g of 1, which is root 1, which is 1. So our lower limit doesn't change. That happens sometimes, it's fine. Our upper limit of integration is going to be g of 4, which is root 4, which is 2. So that one did change. So one of them changed and one of them didn't. Totally fine. So now we're ready to do our substitution. So this is equal to the definite integral from 1 to 2 of e raised to the u power and then du. And from this point on, the x's are completely gone. No more x's. So let's go ahead and do this definite integral. Oh, don't go ahead and do the definite integral. Pause for a moment and see if you can see what I accidentally forgot. Did you find it? It's this 2. And it's really easy to make a mistake like that in one of these problems because there's so much going on. So it's really important anytime you're doing a substitution problem to just go back and make sure that you didn't leave anything off. And I was doing that just now because after working a ton of these problems, I know that occasionally I leave off that times 2 exactly like I just did. So it is really important to go back and look over your work as you're doing it, or after you finish the problem. At some point, make sure you go back and check for things you left off. So now I anti-differentiate and I get 2e to the u, evaluated at 2 and evaluated at 1. So I get 2e squared minus 2e to the first. And that's it.